What's up, everyone? Aaron Nagler here, PackersNews.com, live on Facebook late in the day on Tuesday. Not a whole heck of a lot going on the Packers front, news-wise, but as per my usual, thought I'd jump on. It's a beautiful day here in New York. Jumping on outside because my house is crazed, but don't ever want to miss you guys. So I thought I'd jump on, see what's up, see what's on everyone's mind, as the dust settle from the draft, undrafted free agents, Joe Callahan's release. I know you're all broken up about it. Thought I'd come on, say hey. Brandon, what's up, man? George, hello. Thanks for joining us. Roy, hiya. How are you? Justin, hello from Minnesota. What's up, man? What's up from New York City? Hey, Jason. How are you, buddy? So, yeah. Like I said, not a whole heck of a lot going on. I did have a lovely voicemail from a regular viewer, I believe in the Tampa area, talking about Justin Vogel and punting and how the selection of Scott was a bad choice because of Vogel's many accomplishments last year, and they were numerous, and I thought he was very good, especially for having a kick in the cold. But you know, you're always getting better, or you're always getting worse, and clearly they think Scott has something to him where he could be a serious field position weapon. And that's not to discount anything Vogel's done, but when you look at, you know, the 5th round, I know a lot of people said, well, we could have used another defender, maybe an edge rusher, etc. You know, by the time you get to the 5th round, you're really kind of just picking guys who have some athletic upside and hoping for the best. I mean, yes, you can find starters there every once in a while. Corey Linsley jumps to mind, but for the most part, you know, it's not a long shot, but the odds are getting longer. Whereas, you know, taking the punter where they did, they felt they wanted to get the dominant punter in this draft. They wanted to get the best of the best, the cream of the crop, so to speak, pick of the litter, take whatever analogy you want. And that's what they did. And I've said a couple times that, would I have done it? No. But, you know, for them to justify it, he's going to have to knock it out of the park. Pretty much literally, when he kicks the ball. Travis, the weather in New York is gorgeous. Why didn't they get Arden Key in the 3rd? I'm guessing because they didn't like him. You know, I've heard a combination of question marks around his game and questions about off-field stuff. One scout in particular said that some of the stuff they found off the field would relegate him to the 4th round or below. You know, a lot of times these guys fall. They may have great college careers. We're not privy to things that maybe NFL teams are finding out behind the scenes, or maybe we are sometimes privy to these things. But more often than not, when a highly talented guy with a lot of athletic upside does start to fall, it's almost always because of off-field concerns. Who's our starting secondary? Chris, that's a great question. That's what the next couple months are going to be about. I tend to think Tramon Williams will be starting on one side and most likely Kevin King on the other, with Jair Alexander in the slot. That's just guesswork sitting here on May 1st. Josh Jackson was a steal. Happy the Packers got him. Absolutely. We didn't get Key because someone picked him right before us. Possibly. But as they showed in the 1st round, they're clearly not adverse to jumping up and getting a guy if they really want it. Punter was a great pick, I think. Time will tell. Do you feel more confident about our defense this season, post-draft and post-Pettine? I feel it will be better mostly because of Pettine. I think it helps to give him these pieces in the secondary, obviously. But I've said pretty much since the evening he was hired, I think he's their biggest offseason acquisition, their most important. It's going to be, for Packer fans, it may feel like Dorothy when she lands in the house in Oz. You guys are going to be going from black and white to color on defense. You think Oren Burks can defend the pass? Ian, I know the Packers are hoping so. You know, in this day and age in the NFL that we watch week to week here in 2018, you got to be able to go sideline to sideline. You got to be able to handle backs out of the backfield, tight ends up the seam. His athleticism would suggest that he can. I've seen hit and miss of it on his college tape so far, but you know, that's clearly what he's there for. They've said that he's going to play inside, and part of that gig is going to be taking backs out of the backfield and coverage in the flat, coverage down the seam. We'll see if he's up to the task. Kyle says, I expect a huge jump from Josh Jones. You know, I think a big part of it will be just solidifying his, how they use him. I mean, if they can use him down as a box safety a little bit more. And clearly, in today's NFL, you're never going to have a guy completely dedicated to the box and the other guy completely dedicated to free safety. That's just not the way the league works anymore, especially when you've got offenses trying to dictate what they want you to do coverage-wise. You got to be able to cross-train. But I do think Jones was asked to do way too much out in the kind of like center field, where he was really uncomfortable. I mean, that became very apparent as the year wore on. But the work that he did down at the line of scrimmage, I thought was really promising. So if Pettine can figure out a way to get him down there more often, I think, yeah, then they'll be cooking with gas. When will the undrafted free agent signings be made official? I would think prior to this weekend's rookie minicamp. We got an announcement, an email today from the Packers saying they have player availability on, I think it's Friday. McCarthy's going to talk. So I would think they would have to, not have to, but they most likely will announce their undrafted free agent class prior to that. Hell, it may even happen tonight. Do you think Pettine's defense will be easier to grasp, therefore better? Well, you know, we've now heard Clinton-Dix and Mike McCarthy both echo how not simple it is, but how learnable it is, likable and learnable. So, you know, we'll see. It's not simple by any means. You know, there's still a good amount of adjustment that needs to happen at the line of scrimmage, but the hope is that Pettine's, you know, track record would suggest that he's much better at, you know, paring things down week to week, depending on what the opponent is doing, and sticking with a few tried and true principles to try and slow them down, rather than Capers who kept everything open every week, and there was just, you know, tons of checks and tons of specialization, which you guys saw the last 2 years especially, you know, led to a lot of clown car like stuff coming in on and off the field. Do teams ever have open tryouts anymore? Kind of. This week they'll often have guys in, especially locally, for rookie camp tryouts. And then, you know, Tuesdays during the year, they will have, you know, various guys in from all over the place, as far as, you know, just kicking the tires, keeping their lists up to date, for just, you know, free agent guys that are trying to catch on somewhere around the league. But as far as, like, you know, you're working at Walmart and you want to go try out for the Packers, not that I know of. Keith feels good about the team. Well, that's understandable, Keith. You know, the draft sells hope, and nothing sells hope more than a draft where you not only came out with a bunch of exciting young prospects, but you also got a first-round pick next year. That's a lot of hope. I just hope Jackson and Alexander come out hot. Well, that's the thing. I mean, we'll see. Everyone's touting these two guys, understandably so. They were, you know, on the top of a lot of boards, both media and scouting-wise. But look, you know, all of that amounts to a whole lot of nothing once they step foot on a football field and have to take on NFL wide receivers. And, you know, some guys sink, some guys swim, some guys look good in shorts, this rookie camp and OTAs and mini camp. And then, you know, late July, early August rolls around and they're in pads, and all of a sudden they look totally lost. So it's a long process. I totally hear what you're saying as far as wanting them to kind of jump on things and look good right away, but, you know, it's a long road. There's a lot involved, and these guys are going to work their butts off, you would think, given this opportunity they're going to be given. But, you know, you can't take anything for granted. You know, once you step between the white lines, draft status don't mean a whole heck of a lot. Can I say hi, Karen? Sure. Hi, Karen. How are you? What's up with your fence? It's a fence. The bamboo stops right there because I have to see this thing right here? Over there is an old grill that I got to get rid of. So this comes apart, and then down there, below there, is an alleyway where the dude's going to come and he's going to lift up a new grill and then take the old grill away. This has been Grill Time there in Nagler. How much are you loving this GM's media availability? I'll tell you what, there was a moment I went back. Hey, say hi to the train. Hi, train. There was a moment from this past weekend. I went back and watched all of Gutekunst's press availabilities because I have no life. But there was a moment Jason Wilde asked him about character because Gutekunst has mentioned it several times, both this weekend and prior, leading up, about the importance of character, football character, the character in the locker room, etc. And Jason asked him point blank, are there times that you pass on talented players because of a lack of character? And Gutekunst straight up said yes. And I was trying to think, I don't ever remember Ted Thompson being that forward and direct about it. And then we all kind of suspected it, and I think he always kind of danced around it. But Gutekunst just came right out and said it. And I don't know, like I said, I've always suspected that was the case, but for him to admit it outright, what's up, Big B? How you doing? Just outright in public, I was pretty impressed. Of the new rookies, who are you most excited to see working in camp this weekend? I don't know. Ask me again on Friday. Thanks for saying hi, Karen. My mother doesn't believe you are live. She's old. Karen, I'm live. Buy a Weber grill. Oh, Chase, I'm all over it, buddy. How does Dean Lowrey fit in for this season? James, this is a good question. Probably mostly as depth. I think he had a decent year last year. I don't think you quite saw the progression maybe they were hoping for. But, now clearly they got some studs up front with Daniels, Wilkerson, and Clark. I think a good part of his game is going to be about rotation and keeping guys fresh. More Lowrey in maybe quarters 2 and 3 means a little more Daniels and Clark and Muhammad Wilkerson in quarter 4 when they need to, be at their strongest. So he'll be important, but I don't think you're going to see quite as much of him this year. Trade the 2 first-round picks next year and Clay to the Broncos for Bradley. Well, no one's taking Clay's contract, so let's come back from the la-la land, because that ain't going to happen. Thoughts on Kyle Murphy? It's funny. You hear his name every once in a while when people start talking about the right tackle position, because obviously Balaga's coming off an injury, as is Jason Spriggs. Honestly, I wasn't a huge fan of what he did last year at tackle. The few, the little work that he got there. But that doesn't mean he can't improve. That doesn't mean he can't come back this offseason and kill it and surprise me. But, if you're asking can he hold down the fort at right tackle if Balaga's, late to the game, so to speak, at the start of the season? I don't think that's a solution, but that's just me. Dez, all capitals with a question mark. Matthew, I doubt it, but you never know. Maybe if they get to rookie camp and they see all these rookie wide receivers and they go, ooh, not quite happy with what we have here, maybe they give him a call. Still doubt it, though. How many times a year will I cook on the grill? Over, under 10? Oh, way over. Like 50, probably. Who has a better rookie season, Alexander or Jackson? Chris, I have no idea, man. Give me my crystal ball. Is Kaiser QB2? Not yet. I tend to think he's going to have to beat out Hundley. Now, I know a lot of you will say that shouldn't be too hard to do, and I would probably tend to agree with you, but you never know what's going to happen. Raji was a bust. Well, there's an interesting concept. Was Raji a bust? I mean, he had, a downward trend after the Super Bowl. There's no doubt about that. But a bust? I don't know if I'd go that far. I see Brooklyn. No, you see Astoria, Queens. What up, Queens? Cowboy coach today said Dez had lost it. Oh, really? You mean they didn't sing his praises after they cut him? Of course he said that. You know why he kind of lost it? It's because his quarterback didn't throw him the ball a whole lot. Has anyone asked you about Rodgers' contract yet? If not, I'm asking. No, not yet. And I'll say the same thing I said yesterday. I'll be very surprised if anything gets done until just prior to camp. I tend to think Rodgers will wait and see what happens with Matt Bryan and the Falcons, and then they'll start negotiating in earnest. All right. We get lots of Rodgers contract. This is, by the way, speaking of redundant questions and questions I've answered each and every day. I'm going to be dialing back on Facebook Live videos in a bit, in like a week or two. I won't be doing them every day. Maybe after the rookie mini camps and OTAs, etc. Going to like 3 a week or so, but not yet. I'll be live every day this week at least. So thanks a lot for joining me, everyone. Sorry if I couldn't get to your question, but I'll be back tomorrow. Make sure you're checking PackersNews.com for all the latest, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Thanks a lot.